The basketball hoop coming finally has a winner.
Plus, Troy University adds a new show to the program. Stay tuned. TrojanVision News starts right now.
From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network, Troy, Alabama's International University. This is Troy TrojanVision News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision News for January 27th, 2016. I'm Christy Henderson.
And I'm Xavier Harris. Thank you for joining us this evening. Troy University Student Government Association held its first meeting of the semester with a full Senate last night as the Senates that were elected in last week's vacant elections took their seats. Deja Suarez takes a look at what some of the new Senates have planned.
Last night, Troy University's SGA held their first general body meeting of the semester. The newest members of the Senate were recognized in the meeting as well. One member shares her intentions in the organization as being one of the newly elected senators.
As a representative of Sorority Hill, I plan to meet the needs of the different girls that live on Sorority Hill. I know that something that's been going around in SGA is about lighting, and there's a lack of lighting on Sorority Hill, so that would be something that would be beneficial to our row.
Complaints that are commonly heard around campus were discussed in the meeting. One SGA member shares what they plan on doing to improve each student's safety and campus experience.
We try to compensate for any issues that have happened on campus, and we do our best to make it better for the students, and we also listen to the students, take in their complaints, and we send that feedback up to administration.
SGA is active in implementing bills that satisfy the needs of all students and visitors at Troy University. Senator-at-Large Sagar Patel shares some of the SGA's goals that have been met this semester that students should look out for.
We just passed the bill for the water bottle filling stations. That's something I enacted my freshman year. So I'm just looking around to see more needs that students have and acting upon those.
Deja Suarez, TrojanVision News.
The SGA meets every Tuesday night at 6:30 in Hall of Honor. The meetings are open to all students.
Football season has the big homecoming game where they crown the homecoming queen. And not to be left out, Troy basketball has an event of their own called Hoop Coming. And last night, a Hoop Coming king was crowned. Jordan Elston has the details.
The Trojan basketball team took the court yesterday to face off against South Alabama, but during halftime, a different set of Trojans took the court for hoop coming.
Hoop coming is kind of like homecoming, but for basketball. It's we kind of get some guys involved, but it focuses a lot more on philanthropy and charitable giving. And all the guys who are nominated pick the charity to represent, and all the money raised goes to the winner's charity.
The Hoop Coming King was announced in the second half of the men's game, but contrary to the title, the Hoop Coming King has little to do with basketball.
All week during the week leading up to, we were raising money in Trojan Center. We gave away a bike in the first half, and then we announced the winner in the second half, and at halftime we had a donut eating contest with all the contestants.
And who was crowned Hoop Coming King? SGA President and Alpha Gamma Delta Representative Keith Barton.
It was definitely an exciting moment. I know that there was definitely a lot of close races, but being able to win it was definitely a blessing. Once Alpha Gamma Delta sorority told me that they had nominated me for Hoop Coming King, I immediately began posting on my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, just to try to get the support from fellow students as well as people from back home, being able to share the picture on Facebook, as well as being able to encourage people to go donate money at the bottom of the Trojan Center.
Over $2,600 were raised through Hoop Coming donations, and the money will all be donated to charity.
I'll be taking it to McClellan's Critters, to Mr. Mike out there at McClellan's, to help him with government regulations as well as being able to set up new fences and maintain the zoo that he has.
For more information regarding Hoop Coming, you can contact any Freshman Forum member. Jordan Elston, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Ryan Renfro will have more on the outcome of the Hoop Coming game later in sports. The 2016 presidential campaign is heating up, and with a large number of candidates out there right now, the race might be confusing to some voters.
Well, a new show on Troy TrojanVision wants to help clear up any confusion. Sarah Singletary has the details.
Donald Trump takes pride in calling himself a Washington outsider, and now he'll be sitting out of the last GOP debate before the Iowa caucuses.
Let them have their debate, and let's see how they do with the ratings.
Trump is refusing to participate in the Fox News debate because the network rejected his demand to pull Megyn Kelly as a moderator. Ted Cruz, Trump's closest rival in the polls, mocked the businessman when he tweeted a link to a Monty Python movie. Some voters we talked to in Des Moines say they were disappointed with Trump's decision.
What message do you think it sends to Iowans?
His getting his feelings hurt are more important than them getting to hear his message.
Trump put out a Twitter poll asking his supporters.
A new program that debuted this week on TrojanVision, the 2016 campaign, is giving viewers some insight about this year's presidential election from members of Troy's political science department.
The show is about the primary and caucus season that we've just started. The Iowa caucuses will be on February 1st, and so that starts the season. So we were talking about that and the process of electing a new president.
The panelists hope to shed light on what may be seen as a complicated process of narrowing down the presidential field.
The primary season, the whole system that we have of electing a new president is a very complicated one. The two parties have to come up with their own nominees, and that's a very complicated process. So we had a panel that discussed how to go about how the system works and how people go about becoming the nominee to run in the election.
The show's intended to be educational, but has an additional benefit of showcasing the knowledge of members of the political science department.
I think it's great exposure for the department. I think it's great for us to share our knowledge. We have a very good department with a lot of people who have a lot of great knowledge. But it's also great in terms of having exposure in the community and being able to help learn how the process works and help with the community.
Sarah Singletary, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The 2016 campaign will air again tonight at 9:30 here on TrojanVision, but can also be seen anytime on YouTube at youtube.com/TroyTrojanVision.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. Authorities in Coleman say they believe a man whose body was found at a construction site fell to his death. Local news media report that police and firefighters were sent to the site of a new hotel just after 7 a.m. Tuesday after construction workers found the body. Assistant Police Chief Craig Green tells AL.com the body was in a pit in an isolated area of the site. The man, whose name was not immediately released, was pronounced dead at the scene.
The Madison County Sheriff's Office says a deputy used deadly force didn't violate department policy, and details of an internal affair probe will be passed along to grand jury for further review. Lieutenant Michael Samlonsky said in his statement Tuesday that 35-year-old Randy Joe Sanders Jr., who was a convicted felon, was armed with a loaded handgun during an encounter with the deputy on January 20th.
And a judge is refusing to delay the ethics trial of Alabama House Speaker Mike Hubbard, at least for now. Lee County Circuit Judge Jacob Walker turned down Hubbard's request for a postponement after a hearing Tuesday in Opelika. But the judge noted that the case could still be delayed for other reasons, like an appeal of any case of his pretrial decisions. Hubbard is now set to go on trial on March 28th.
Still to come on Troy TrojanVision News, the men and women's basketball team returned home last night for a doubleheader against the Jaguars of South Alabama. Ryan Renfro has more on the game in today's sports.
And see how zoo animals handled the recent blizzard. We'll have that and more after the break.
Where last week's blizzard kept the animals from venturing outside and their keepers working around the clock.
If you store your guns properly,
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
And I won't have to tell my kids, this isn't a drill.
Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Always lock it up.
Mom, can we get some ice cream? Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Staring contest.
You still got it.
I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Now, the latest in Trojan sports on TrojanVision News.
Last night, the Troy men's and women's basketball teams welcomed the South Alabama Jaguars. And once again this season, the women's team found themselves sword to claw against the Jags in a matchup that came down to the wire. Rachel Wilkerson takes us courtside for a look at Thursday night's matchup.
Due to the poor shooting performance, the women's basketball team fell to in-state rival South Alabama 75-71 Tuesday night in Trojan Arena.
Certainly experiencing a bad stint in our season. We've lost 3 in a row. That's not like us. And the fashion we've lost them in is not like us. We're missing a lot of shots that we normally would make.
The Trojans have played 3 games within 7 days and haven't had much time to get any repetitions in the gym.
I didn't notice them doing enough to us to make us miss that many shots. I really think it's a matter of we've got to get back in the gym and instill confidence through repetition.
I guess the difference is usually before then we were traveling or whatnot, we got a lot of shots up, and we haven't had the opportunity to get shots up.
The Trojans only shot 27% in the first half. Coach Chanda Rigby says that they'll have to learn from their mistakes the hard way and fight hard to earn a spot in the conference tournament.
I mean, there's definitely going to be growth through this. It's very painful, but there's definitely growth. What we've got to do now is pick it up and earn a spot in that conference tournament, and then get in the conference tournament and use the lessons that we've learned the hard way. That's the only way to make good on this.
I would rather lose them right now than lose them later on, like in the conference tournament and stuff, so just learn from it.
The Trojans have a quick turnaround as they face Appalachian State Thursday evening at 5:15 in Trojan Arena.
We built this team on faith and believing in something that wasn't there to begin with, and that's the way we're going into this next game at App State, that we're great shooters. We can take care of business inside the paint, and that's how we're going to approach the game the day after tomorrow here in Trojan Arena.
Rachel Wilkerson, Troy TrojanVision Sports.
And after the women's game, it was time for the men's team to take the court. The Trojans entered the arena looking to grab their second conference win of the season. Jamal Kennedy has more from last night's game.
It was an evening filled with spirit from the Trojan fans as they celebrated hoops coming and cheered on their men's basketball team. However, the Trojans were unable to take down conference and state rivals South Alabama as they fell by a final score of 66-58. One player has remained optimistic and positive despite the outcome.
Well, it's tough starting out 1-8 in conference, but we just got to stick with it, keep working. We're not out of it yet, that's for sure. We got plenty of games left to, get back into the race. Just take it one game at a time.
The Trojans connected on 50% of their shots in the first half, but that percentage dropped to 37% as the Trojans had a hard time after the break. Person, however, feels the team just has to keep it up.
But we just got to find ways to get easy buckets, keep guys in rhythm, keep our momentum there when we have it.
The Trojans had a 6-point lead at the half, but they were unable to carry that momentum into the second half as they struggled offensively.
To begin the second half, we couldn't make an open shot. You just couldn't do it. Got open look after open look, couldn't step up, knock it down. But then when they started making some shots and were able to get in their press, we didn't handle that press, and that was the difference in the game.
The Trojans turned the ball over 13 times, 10 of those coming in the second half.
Those turnovers in the second half cost us the game, and we've got to value the ball. When we have 2 starting guards who get 7 turnovers, that's unacceptable, and we've got to value the ball more.
The Trojans will look to rebound quickly as they welcome Appalachian State to Trojan Arena on Thursday. Tip-off is set for 7:30 p.m. Jamal Kennedy, Troy TrojanVision News.
As Jamal said, the Trojans struggled in the second half, turning the ball over, and South Alabama capitalized, turning those Trojan mistakes into 11 points. Now, both the men's and women's teams returned to Trojan Arena on Thursday night for a conference matchup against Appalachian State. The women's team will tip off at 5:15 p.m. and the men's team at 7:30. The women's track and field team had an impressive showing in Birmingham, Alabama on Sunday. Freshman India Somerville had a lifetime best throw of 13.56 meters in the shot put, and sophomore Carissa Madsen earned first place in the pole vault. And in Troy's 4x400 relay race, sophomore Niata Alexander, junior Dallas Worthy, freshman Ashley McDonald, and Tiara Bailey finished less than a second behind first place. The Trojans will look to continue their success this weekend back up in Birmingham in the New Orleans Invite.